Hello and welcome to another Uniko video with me, Bev, the owner and designer of all things Uniko. Welcome to day 3 of our Christmas almost in July product introductions. I am super excited about today's introduction. It is a new layering stencil. Now, if you've been around here for a while, you'll know that I am partial to a stencil and I am partial to a layering stencil. This one is called Layering Modern Poinsettia, and it is based on a previously released stamp set called Season of Beauty. I'm just, again, forget to get it out of my stash. So this is the stamp set that came out quite a few years ago now, and as you can see, it has got Christmas sentiments, but if you've seen me use this stamp set in the past, you can use it for Christmas, but you can also use it all year round, and I've taken inspiration from it to create this layering stencil to complement the stamp set, but also just breathe a little bit of new life into the flower. And I've made some size changes and things. So this is a 5-layer stencil. Originally it was going to be 4, but then I had some issues with it being 5, but then I've resolved the issues after some time, and it's now a 5-layer. So I'm super excited about that. So these are the cards that I've shared on the blog today. This was one of the cards that we made at recent stamping retreats. I kept it really simple because I really wanted the person making it, and whoever receives the card, to really see the beauty and all over pattern that this stencil creates. And yeah, I just really like it. But then also I shared one on the blog today that shows that just by changing up the colours that you use changes the theme of the card, really. Obviously I've chosen this Get Well sentiment. As you can see, it's foiled. It's one of the foiling dies I got. I was talking about them yesterday in yesterday's video after going to see Crafty Ruth. This is the set here called Classic Greetings, and I just love the font, and I thought they would go really well with Uniko products, and just add a really nice foiling spin. So I'm super pleased with that. So I chose I used buttercup, marmalade and sweet pea, I think it was here, parsley and evergreen for the leaves. And then this is just an offcut of an aqua. It's probably Oceanside or something very similar. And I've hot foiled it in silver, and I think it just works really well. So I'm pleased how this turned out. Anyway, I thought I'd show you how this stencil, the pattern, comes together. If you've seen the blog post, I will quickly just bring it into view. I've loaded it up on my iPad. I am in the current issue of Simply Cards and Paper Crafts, and it'll probably change next week, I would have thought. And this is a little quick peek of the cards made. I made for the magazine using this stencil. So I believe you can buy it digitally now, so I've obviously got a digital version there, as well as the physical versions. So if you are lucky to already own the stencil, if you've already been to one of the stamping retreats. I did have stock of them. You can find more inspiration there, and if it's on your wish list, be sure to get the magazine for some inspiration. So when I'll just bring this in. So when the stencils come packaged here, they're not necessarily in the correct order. Obviously this does have a little bit of an order to it, but all I'd say is layering stencils always come the right way up, so they're layered, that they all match up. So I always pop a little mark in one corner just to make life easier. So before you rush and get using them, make sure you put a little mark in them, in the corners. So I'm starting off with this layer. I'm using the same colours as I've used here. This is the pink lemonade layer. So with your flowers, obviously the colours are going on top of each other, so you do want to start with this layer. On this one I did do a bit of masking and did these smaller poinsettias in a different colour, but I am just going to keep it all one colour for today, just for ease of use and quickness, so I'm not like taking too much of your time up. Oh, and I forgot to say, on this one I did completely mask off the smaller poinsettias. It leaves I'd say a little bit of a gap here. So this one here, it leaves a bit of a gap, but it's perfect for your sentiment, so you don't have to worry too much. But again, it is quite a modern flower. You might recognize it. It's a flower that has popped up in a couple of things, and it is in the Background Blocks Scandinavian Christmas. That's where that flower, you'll have seen it before, and I think it pops up somewhere else as well. I do like a bit of flow and continuity and reusing little icons and things, because I think it just brings this flow to my designs. Anyway, so I'm going in here with pink lemonade. I start off a little bit darker in the center of the flowers and then draw the ink out. I just feel it provides a really sort of nice look to the card, to the flower. I'm going to go quite heavy with the colour on the smaller flowers. But you want, you don't have to worry too much on this layer, because obviously it will be covered up a couple of times, well, one more time fairly. The petal is covered up quite a lot, so you won't see a huge amount of the shading, but it's fun and it's just the way I like to do it. But yeah, I've had some real fun. I have another sample I've made, which I've saved for release day, and I'm really pleased how that one has turned out, so I can't wait to show you that one on release day. And as always, the brand ambassadors have beautiful inspiration today. Denise has used a wonderful colourway that I wouldn't even have thought of using, but it works really well. I'm going to have to give it a go, I think, at some point, because it's beautiful neutrals. So this is your first layer, and obviously you could play about with this stencil and you don't have to do all the layers. So this is what I call the second layer that does the poppy colour, but you could, if you wanted to, skip that layer and then go straight to this sort of detail layer and just do the dots. And yeah, there's quite a lot of adaptations that you could do. Obviously you could pair it with the stamps as well, so do the background layer and then go into stamping, so that's another option. I think there's lots of different combinations that you can do, and obviously lots of different sort of techniques and media you can use with these stencils as well. So a lot of people don't really like pink and red together, but I think they work really nicely. I like a bit of orange as well. I do tend to throw a bit of orange in with my pinks and reds, but I haven't today, so if you're not keen on it, be grateful. But I'm sure it'll pop up at some point. I am trying to be a bit heavier with the colour in the centre again and just draw the colours out. I've re-inked my ink pads so they are quite juicy. For today, well, since the workshops I've done it. I love just how juicy these ink pads are, but not overly juicy that they cause any issues. So that's my second layer, and it looks gorgeous. As I say, you can go, the next three you could do in any order you like really, but because the colours don't overlap, I am just going to get that little smidge of red from there. And as you can see, I'm using the 6-inch square as a guide for placing my stencils. If you don't have a magnetic board like this, if you work on just like a paper pad or a cutting mat or something, I just recommend when you place your first stencil down, just put a little pencil mark in each corner. Pencil rubs out really easy with a wet cloth, and you'll just be able to place your stencils down easier each time. So if you look back on my videos, I used to work on a paper pad, the Stampin' Up paper pad. I still do sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. And that's what I used to do before I invested, because it is an investment buying a magnetic board. I do appreciate how expensive they are, and you know, I had to save up my pennies to be able to purchase one. So then I'm going to do the leaves next. So I'm just placing it down. So this one I'm using parsley and evergreen. I'm going to do the parsley first because it is the lighter of the two colours. Now I tend to start from this point on the leaves and again draw the ink out, just adding shading easily, concentrating darker colour to sort of nearer the flower petals. Sometimes I go heavier than others, and it depends how positioned my brush is, and you get sort of a different look every time. But the reason I've chosen two colours is to add a little bit more shading as well. So it's easy to do, and then you can add details if you wanted with like gold pens or glitter pens and things like that. And you could even overstamp some of the leaves from the Season of Beauty set as well, if you wanted to add some detail and interest. So I have a smaller brush for the evergreen. Oh, this looks like super juicy that the ink hasn't gone right in, so I'm sort of drawing the ink in off the solid part of the stencil where the cutout isn't. Almost done. And so you can have some good fun playing with inks. Just a couple of colours. I mean, you could, if you didn't have loads of different reds, you could just go in lightly with your lighter shade, and then when you come to the next layer, go heavy, and then obviously you'd need a darker colour. Like you could just use poppy and cranberry quite easily. And that's your leaf layer. And then this is like the background dots and the centres of the flower. So I do like to do the centre of the flowers black. I just find it really stands out, it like pops out. So I just use oh, there it is, my black ink and just a little detail brush. I've probably said before, I do wash my brushes, so this one the coating has started to peel off a little bit, but it doesn't matter, the brush still works itself, so I'm not too worried. I'm not mega precious. And then for the other bits, I'm going to use Berry Kiss. It's one of the new Concord and 9th colours, and I absolutely love this pink. It's up there with, it might have even overtook Honeysuckle as being my new favourite, and Honeysuckle is my favourite pink, but this just has that little bit more of a raspberryness to it. It's probably a bit of a closer shade to one of the walls I have painted in the studio here. So I'm just using a slightly smaller brush just to go in on the dots. You could be super fancy and do the rainbow with lots of little detail brushes if you wanted to. And that's one thing I haven't done much of yet, is a rainbow card, and I was super pleased to see one of the attendees of the workshop last weekend has given the Ink and Flip Star a beautiful rainbow colour scheme. It absolutely looks gorgeous, and I'm amazed I hadn't even thought myself of doing a rainbow star, but it is gorgeous. I've shared it in my stories today on Instagram. So that is the card. Now, what I was going to do, so I'm going to move my inks out of the way because I am going to bring in my die cut machine. I am going to, it was a card layout that Hanieli had shared. I came across it actually on Pinterest and I absolutely loved it, and it uses like rectangle dies, and I did I haven't shared it, but I did a card using the layering Modern Blooms on a tone on tone card, and Hanieli's is more of a tone on tone card, using rectangle dies. So you want like two sizes of No, actually I am going to just use the next one down. And it creates a really fun effect, and I will share the other card at some point that I made, that was made at a stamping retreat as well. So you want a bit of low tack tape. This Scotch tape is a little bit stickier, so when things are a little bit too sticky for my liking, I always take a bit of the stick off by sticking them on my hand. And then I'm going to centre this die as best I can. You know me, my eyes are a little bit, go a bit like, aren't the greatest sometimes. I go a bit off centre like I did yesterday with the sentiment, but never mind. It's just to hold it in place. It'll probably move before. Now I've taken a bit of stick off. I've probably taken too much stick off, which is always the way. So I am still using my trusty Big Shot that I've had many years, and it works. It's probably lost a couple of bits on it, but it still does the job. So then I'm just going to move this out of the way, but you not too far because you'll need it again. So what you're going to do, so you've got, just need to be careful peeling the tape off. So you've got this outer frame. So I've got another piece of card. So you've got your outer frame that I'm going to add here. And then you've got this inner frame. Now what you're going to do is you're going to die cut it again. Now this looks really nice on tone, but I am curious to see how it'll look with just like pattern and white cards. So I'm just centering this on here. And you could use the leftover, you'll see you could use the leftover with something for another project. So I'm just going to bring my die cutting machine back up again. And I really liked the look of this simple. So I didn't have any, when I came across it, I didn't have a set of like infinity dies like these that have the lots of layers. I only had a sort of a very rough collection of rectangles. I mean, you could do it with squares and obviously other shapes, but I really like the look of the rectangles. So I got these, they're the A2 additional layers dies from Waffle Flower. And I believe they pair up with some pattern dies that they have as well, which like have scallops and things. So again, I don't always have the budget to just rush out and get what I want straight away, so I do have to plan when I want these extra things. So then, because I've removed that piece, using the smaller die, you get this nice sort of like little frame, but then you can still see like the continuity of the stencil design. So I just think it's a really neat technique. So thank you, Hanny Ellie, for sharing that idea. So yeah, I'm just going to pop a bit of temporary adhesive just to hold that in place. And you could use this bit for something else. You could probably do something like on the reverse effect. I don't know, I haven't really thought about that yet, but I always keep the little discarded pieces. I was just looking for my double-sided tape. You know, I like my double-sided tape. It's not messy. I am getting better with using wet glue, but yes, I still reach for, I apologise, my double-sided tape. You just get used to your go-tos, don't you? Everyone has their go-to products. And double-sided tape is mine. You could, if you wanted to, add dimension. That would look quite nice as well, but I thought I would just keep mine flat, and then when I do add a sentiment to it, I will add that with some dimension. But I'm not going to add a sentiment today, as this was just like the idea of, I just wanted to show you the layering of the stencil, and then just what I planned on doing. I will probably share the finished card on release day. So tomorrow is the final day of the product introductions for this release. They go live on Saturday at 9 AM. And I will do my best to get orders out as quick as I can, but just bear with me. It is the school holidays. The Beans are back from their mini vacation with Grandma and Granddad. So I'll do my best, but just bear with me. I'm just giving forewarning that I might not be as quick as I normally am. And as you can see, I have just put that the wrong way round, and I don't know if I will be, might just be able to, I should have checked. So with moving that, I am going to be, if I add more double-sided tape, it will bulk it out a bit. Who's made that mistake before? Not looking, not paying attention. It's too busy talking. So I am going to just put a bit of glue, and hopefully it will stick. And I should double check before I place stuff down, but who has done that before? Just me? Luckily, it hadn't stuck down too much. I thought it looked a bit funky when I put it down. Never mind. I don't think you can tell too much that I have made that error. And there is my finished card, and I will add a simple sentiment to this at some point. Not sure what yet, but yes, this is the layering modern poinsettia stencil, and I will just bring in my other two cards for you to see that I shared at the beginning. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you love this stencil as much as I do, and I will see you again tomorrow for the final product introduction. See you then. Bye for now.